Now back to the breaking news we're following in the CMPD officer shooting trial, where the jury has just told the judge it is deadlocked in this case. Reporter Jim Bradley joins us live from right outside the courtroom with the very latest. Jim.
Allison, it's a question that we started asking yesterday about whether this jury would be able to reach a unanimous verdict in the voluntary manslaughter charge against Randall West Kerrick. Just a few moments ago, the jury sent in a note to the judge indicating that it is deadlocked. The jury said in that note, after many days and hours of deliberations, we've not been able to come to a definitive conclusion. Our position has remained deadlocked. And the jury then asked the judge what they should do then. The judge asked the attorneys how they felt. The state said, the prosecutors said, that they were requesting that the judge instruct them to resume deliberations and continue trying to reach that unanimous verdict. George Lauren, who's one of the two attorneys representing Randall West Kerrick, then asked the judge to go ahead and declare a mistrial, saying that he didn't think they would be able to come to a verdict after all this time. We're in the fourth day, by the way, of deliberations. The judge said he was very interested in what the breakdown was in the jury's votes that they've taken. They've taken three. The first, we're told, was 7-5. The next two were 8-4. We don't know which way that was leaning, but that certainly leads you to believe that there is a major division in the jury about the guilt or innocence of Officer Kerrick. And so as we stand right now, there is a deadlock. We're not sure whether the judge will send them back to deliberate again, although we're just getting some information. Hold on one second. Getting some information here. The judge is now rereading instructions to the jury and asking them to continue their deliberations. So this will go on for a while longer. Not surprising that the judge would send them back. That's actually a pretty normal occurrence in these cases. So we'll see what happens as they go back. But again, the latest we've heard is the jury is deadlocked 8-4 in this case. Allison.
And Jim, you have been following this case every day of the trial and every day of deliberations, and you've spoken to a lot of legal experts about this. 7-5 in the first vote, 8-4 on the second. We don't know the third, but it's looking like they're pretty far off from coming to a consensus on this.
Yeah, it's certainly, it's not like they came back 10-2 or 11-1. This is almost split down the middle at 8-4 and 7-5. So there's obviously some major disagreement about this case. The fact is, much of the testimony was not conclusive. There was so much made about the video, but many people that I've talked to see different things from that dash cam video. Some say that Randall Kerrick was justified because Jonathan Ferrell was running at him. Other people point out that the video pretty clearly showed that Ferrell had no weapon. The testimony about the training that officers had. The CMPD said that he violated policy. Other experts, and in fact other officers in CMPD, say that they had that there were different standards that they were told by supervisors. So much of this seems to be conflicting. It seems to be bearing out in the way the jury is looking at this, Allison.
And Jim, we're just getting word from our colleague Mark Becker there too, that the judge just said they can have other evidence to view if it helps. In all of your conversations with legal experts, is there any piece that comes to your mind immediately you think could help them clarify a decision here?
Well, I don't know. I'm certainly not going to guess about that. But one thing that I'll point out is that all the evidence they've asked for and that they've looked at so far has talked about or centered on the encounter between Officer Kerrick and Jonathan Ferrell. None of it has had anything to do with the house that he went to after having the car accident where he banged on the door and allegedly kicked at the door. Nothing about that. It's all had to do with that encounter, with those very few seconds just before and after the shots were fired. There's not much more that they could ask for that they haven't already asked for. They've taken statements and videos from Officer Kerrick and Little and Neal. They've looked at other testimony that was entered in about that, diagrams and photographs. So we'll see if they ask for something else. But at this point, it looks like they've gotten back there just about everything that's had to do with that, including that dash cam video.
Jim, thank you, and we will see if that will make a difference and if they will be requesting any additional evidence to review. We're just getting word as well from our colleagues there at the courthouse that the jury has now taken a lunch break. So they'll go to lunch and then they'll come back and it looks like begin deliberating this case again. We know 3 votes they've taken so far today, all ending in a deadlock. So they were seeking some advice from the judge on what to do, and it looks like he's saying continue the conversation. Jim, thank you very much for keeping us posted. We know we'll be following your Twitter feeds as well for updates throughout the afternoon, and you can count on WSOCTV.com as well as Eyewitness News at 5 o'clock. Right now, we